Support for today's Juicy Scoop comes from Honeylove. Honeylove has revolutionized the wireless bra game. Their bras feature supportive bonding that eliminates the need for uncomfortable wires and unnecessary bulk. You deserve a bra that's lightweight and comfortable without sacrificing support. Embrace freedom, flexibility, and comfort with Honeylove's wire-free bras. Plus, they're made with fabric that's so soft, you'll forget you're wearing it. Honeylove is not just supporting women, it's empowering women. Treat yourself to the best bras on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/juicy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off. honeylove.com/juicy. Find your perfect fit. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support Juicy Scoop and tell them I sent you. Elevate your comfort, elevate your style with bras that empower your lifestyle of flexibility. I know we are all freaking out about the price of groceries, and maybe you realize, oh my gosh, how much am I really spending on eating out or having food delivered? I would like to really budget that down and see the hard truth that you probably shouldn't be spending that much. That's what I love about Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and have saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/juicy. That's rocketmoney.com/juicy. rocketmoney.com/juicy.
Heather McDonald has got the juiciest scoop. When you're on the road, when you're on the go, Juicy Scoop is the show to know. She talks Hollywood tales, her real life Mr. Segment serial data, and serial sister. You'll be addicted and addicted fast to the #1 tabloid real life podcast. Listen in, listen up. Woo woo. Heather McDonald, Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. A little bit of important business to get out of the way regarding my tour, so please listen up. I have to reschedule a few of the dates due to something that I need to be in LA for. So New York City will be now February 14th, rescheduled to February 14th. And then DC will now be February 15th, and Red Bank, New Jersey will be Sunday, February 16th. Everything is at heathermcdonald.net. And of course, my next date will be September 21st with Brandy and Julie. I will be at the Venetian. Then I am off to the Parks Casino in Philly with Tammy Pascatelli. Chris Frangiola is joining me for Connecticut and Boston at the Wilbur. He's also joining me in Minneapolis and Chicago. All that is in October. And then I'll be finishing my tour at my favorite place to perform, the Irvine Improv, on November 8th and 9th. That's 2 shows of stand-up a night. And then doing a live, always new podcast on Sunday, November 10th. So everything is at heathermcdonald.net, along with, of course, Patreon. And we have an awesome Juicy Scoop interview today with the stars of the new show, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. They were here. We recorded it. You're going to die. It's so good. Just wanted to cover a few hot topics that happened over the long weekend. I hope you had a wonderful weekend as well. But we know that Brittany of Vanderpump Rules has filed for divorce. Jax Taylor has actually come out. And he was in treatment, and he says that he now has been diagnosed with bipolar and also PTSD. We don't know exactly what that means as far as, how he'll interact with the rest of the cast on The Valley. But he says he feels like he's going to be in a better place for his son. So wishing him well. Burning Man happened this weekend. I don't know if you follow anyone. It still looks like a nightmare. I follow some people that are really wealthy, that they go like the 5-star, 7-star way. And so they were showing me the camp, but then part of it is like the bartering and stuff of Burning Man. So like, even though you're like living in this nice tent and maybe you have a chef or whatever, then you also have to be like a housekeeper for these people. It's so weird. I just will never get it. I don't understand it. If you went and had a great time, I've talked to people that go every year, and I know they like wearing the Mad Max outfits, and it's just, I just will never understand the appeal. But to those who went, I'm glad it didn't rain like the previous year. George Clooney and Brad Pitt made their debut as a couple. No, they're in the Venice Film Festival. They have a movie coming out. And Brad Pitt came out with his girlfriend that we've heard about for a while. He is 61. I mean, he looks amazing. Yes, I believe he's had some work done. Who cares? He looks fabulous. His girlfriend is only 31, and she's really smart. She speaks 4 languages. She's really pretty, classy, like not overly done, brunette. She looks kind of like George Clooney's wife. Like they could honestly be sisters. But that's a huge age difference, even for someone like that, mature and smart. She's a jewelry designer, and a lot of the stars I imagine it's just simple gold, just a simple gold necklace, that I sell to the stars. I'm sure she's lovely. But that was kind of a big deal that he was on the red carpet in Venice with her for the first time, even though we've seen a couple pap photos of them. And then on a sad end was Leah Remini of King and Queens, and also, big Scientologist who then did podcasts about leaving Scientology. She's been with her husband for, I think, 27 years. They've been married. And she announced via social media that they are getting divorced, that it is nobody's fault, and they're going to stay co-parents to their daughter, who is I think she's a junior this year, because I remember there was a big controversy that Leah Remini didn't go to the wedding at the Georgian plantation for J-Lo and Ben. And people wondered, did she not approve of this wedding? What was it? No, she was moving her daughter into college, which I think most women wouldn't miss that opportunity for their one daughter for their best friend's 4th wedding. So I never held that against. We've seen them. She was at J-Lo's birthday. So a lot of people are like, what does this mean now as 2 women that have worked together, have been best friends for 20 years? They're the same age, essentially, and now they're both single. There's one or two things that could happen. One, they just have their fun and do their own thing. And the second is the more likely one, a podcast together. J-Lo and Leah, 3rd chapter. Who knows what they'll call it? But am I surprised about Leah Remini? I knew them through social circles, and my husband knew him from golfing or whatnot. And it's just really hard to say why. I just hope it stays nice and friendly, and that they're both hopefully on the same page and no one wanted it more than the other, because that's when it turns ugly. It's very rare that you're both like, hey, you know what? Would you want to maybe get divorced? Oh my God, I was thinking the same thing. Yes, Queen, go for it. Yes, King, do it. So glad we're on the same page. Rarely happens, but I'm hoping that is the case for them. All right, you guys. I'm so excited for this interview. I think you will really enjoy it. This is a juicy show, but you don't have to know anything about the show or my guests to get into all the things we uncover about their juicy lives. So here we go with the girls from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. Well, I have 2 of the new stars of the hot new show on Hulu, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Welcome. Both of you, gorgeous.
Thank
First
you.
of all,
Thank you.
I tried to
I
make
got
my
you.
hair look like yours. They're both long locks, honeysuckle. We've got Jen Affleck and Demi. Tell me what your last name is. Engelman.
Yes.
And I have watched 4 episodes. You guys, this airs on September 6th, Friday on Hulu. And they were nice enough to give me the screeners. And so I saw 1 and I'm like, oh, that's all they're going to give me. And then I watched 4 and I'm so excited for the Juicy Scoopers, because I thought, can't believe they gave me this many episodes. Like, what are they thinking? Because it's so juicy. And then I was like, oh God, they're going to piecemeal it. And I'm like, they really should give us it all so we get hooked. And then if you come back, if they want to string us along once a week, I think that's the way to do it. And that's what they did.
Yes, I like that.
So I love that everyone can listen to this interview, get a little familiar and then watch it.
Yeah,
For sure.
Because I think it's really good. And I'm not just blowing steam up your blowouts.
good, because that's
Well, we haven't watched it, so
Oh.
yeah.
whatever you've seen, we have not seen. So,
We lived it,
Yes,
but-
we definitely lived it, and it was definitely juicy, no question.
Okay, so let's just start from the beginning of why some people might be already familiar with you guys, but you don't have to be. Is you started this TikToking sensation where all you guys who are young Mormon moms living in a close-knit area of Utah were influencers. Some of you were influencers on your own. And then who was it that first said, hey, do you guys want to come over for soda? Because you don't drink or do coffee, or at least you're not supposed to. And let's dance with our long locks. Who thought to go, let's put the camera here and let's all like go like, cause, and also what's with this move? Okay. I'm just doing it. What's this?
Let's see it.
that was good.
That was good.
That was better than me.
You're
Thought
officially part of Mom
lifting up
Talk.
the body and popping the ass as you turn with
Yeah, baby.
a wink.
In the trailer, that's me.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
and like,
That's it. Oh, it's,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we're gonna do a TikTok after this.
Yes.
You're in.
Okay.
You're in.
Yeah.
So who thought of that first? And who's a real dancer and who's just someone that
mean-
can do the moves?
I mean, I don't think that anyone really thought of like TikTok first. Charlie D'Amelio and Addison Rae definitely.
Right. Oh,
you know,
that's right. They kind of
carved the
started
path.
doing that with
Yes.
the camera on the stand.
Yes.
Yes.
And
It's
yeah.
definitely Gen Z.
Okay.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
But it was like, yeah, that's the thing. When I got on, I remember so many people being like, get the moms off of this app. Like, they do not deserve to be here. They should not be on here. You're so old. And like, I mean, even
You're
to
old.
you,
I'm
I
on
feel
it.
like,
This old
all
mom
the
is
time,
on
I'm
it.
like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you're talking to Jenny from the Block. I'm like, excuse me? I'm just kidding.
no, like they would say it to anyone over 18, I swear.
No,
They're like, you're
seriously.
old, ooh, get off this app. So that was kind of how it started. And for me, I was like, when you tell me not to do something, I'm going to go so much harder.
Yes.
So I just went hard on it. And then it was Taylor who kind of started the group. She had an original group that she would like do little satire videos with. And then it became this whole thing where they would get together. And we all were influencers already, independent of Mom Talk, and doing it for, you know, work, you know? And so, and also for fun. It was
yes,
both.
for sure.
Meaning
But
work
yes.
that you guys got sponsors and you were making an income.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we
For-
had done influencing. I had done it for almost 10 years at that time. And then I think, I mean, she's a lot younger than me. So you were
Yeah.
pretty
You
fresh
guys are
to
how
it.
old?
Yeah. I'm 25.
And I just turned 30.
Oh, okay. Well, you both look like you're 16. Must be that good Mormon living. I mean, look at
oh,
Mitt.
yeah, it's the spirit.
I was
It's the
like,
Holy
look-
Spirit right there.
Look at Mitt Romney. I mean, the
No.
guy was like, I remember like when he was running for president, I was like, how does this guy look so young? Oh, that's right. They're Mormon.
Yeah.
No drinking, no coffee.
Yep.
Um,
All of it.
But so the big scoop was the big scandal, and I spoke about it on here too, because when I saw all this news, I was like, oh, this girl does look familiar. These videos have come through my feed. And that was when your co-star, also part of the Mom Talk you talked about, Taylor, she chose to go on and just say, oh, by the way, I'm getting a divorce because my husband and I are soft swingers. And within our friend group, we would swing in the sense of make out and do stuff with people. Don't go all the way as long as the partner was in the room. So it almost felt like a spin the bottle, but more.
Orgy.
Yes.
Yes. And so as I started to watch this a little bit, and they kind of explained that at the first couple episodes, I was like, okay, whose husband did she get with? And not until I understood later, no, whoever she swung with is nobody's husband that we're currently seeing on the show, correct?
Well, I mean, you know more than me because you were actually like invited to.
Yeah, I
Those-
was at the parties.
Yes.
And if this is coming out tomorrow, I feel like we should leave a lot of this like for like I don't want to spoil
Everything,
anything.
yeah.
You know?
But some gets revealed. Well,
It all gets revealed.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
People will know in 2 days who was involved and who wasn't.
Okay.
Yes.
And so when you were there, when you got invited to the parties, did you realize that this was there a pineapple on the door? Was there a Luffy on the golf cart? Like, was there any sign?
She was like, it was a flamingo. And
No, I walked by Taylor a few times in the grocery store, and I saw that upside down pineapple in her cart. And
shut up.
no, I swear to you,
No, you did not.
I'm kidding. No,
I was like, you liar.
I was like, hi, Taylor. She's like,
You don't have to do that. By the way, you just have to have the pineapple in the part where you'd keep a toddler.
oh, so it doesn't have to be upside down.
No, you do it upside down
That's
if
right.
you take it up the butt. No, I'm making up that part too.
I'm like, no.
I was like, where
The
are you?
upside down part, I don't think is anything. But that's why I
Okay,
heard that
okay.
years ago from someone in Atlanta. Then now people think it's, kind of funny, but pineapples are everywhere too, like clothing and stuff.
Yeah.
But then it became the loofah thing in the Florida places where different loofahs meant different things that you were into of how far you would go, different colored loofahs. And they put those on the golf carts. They put those.
Stop it.
And on cruise ships, they put they put things outside of their cruise ship doors to mean like, hey, if you're interested,
Knock
we
on my
are
door.
too. Yes.
That is bizarre. So it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing, but I think what made this interesting is, the other documentaries that we've seen throughout time on swingers, they're not attractive and young.
Oh.
It's a hit or miss.
Oh.
And so I think that think that, I don't know, there was something sort of, I think some people would almost find it appealing, provided families don't break up, because you guys all, because you're Mormon, there is this influx of marrying younger than the average American.
Right.
And then you're also attractive. And so it's like, and you're all like fun and young. And God, if you could make out with other people and make the party a little more fun, since you're not like doing anything drug-wise crazy, could that be sort of appealing? Like, how long did it go before it blew up with the people? Do you know?
I mean, yeah, it didn't go well, and it didn't last very long. I personally stand behind the fact that that is just a means to an end. I
agree.
I don't know anyone, and maybe I don't know enough people that participate. It sounds like there's quite a few people that do.
I think the only time it really does work, sadly, is with kind of older people that are maybe even on their second marriage, and they're like, hey, we're both really sexual. Mm-hmm. We're going to be part of these groups. Right. We have the rules. And even then it doesn't always work out. The one couple I knew, and it was like a friend of, was the rules broke. The two people got together when it wasn't a foursome, come over for steaks and jacuzzi.
Yeah.
And, and then they started to do their own thing. That's usually what happens, is that it's very hard to find exactly four people. You really need four people exactly on the same page.
Yeah.
Nobody likes each other more than the other.
Yeah.
So I think that's why the swingers that last, it is go on a vacation and never see the people again. Go to this party and never see the people again. Not you're going through drive-through and you're like, hey,
for sure.
I have your casserole dish and I really liked your husband's dick last night. I don't think, see in pickup line, I don't think that
ever
doesn't
gonna last.
work.
Yes,
Yeah.
no.
And I think being naive and young with your castmate and whoever those friends were, I think they thought that they could do that.
Well, and I think it also is coming from just boredom and being a combination of being married super young and then boredom.
Yeah.
Right? Because after being married for 5 to 7 years, you get to that stage where you're like,
7-year
okay,
itch.
yes. You're like, okay, how do we keep this interesting? And some people, somehow amp up their sex life. Others start swinging in Taylor's case. And so, I definitely think
especially in the Mormon
culture.
Getting married so young, not sure who you are before you get married. Your brain's not even fully developed most of the time when you're making the most important decision of your life. You're throwing kids into the mix. You're becoming a mom. And all of a sudden you look at your life and you're like, wait, I had an idea of how my life was supposed to be. And it all happened so fast. And so you just find yourself in that limbo and in those. But I will say a lot of it was brought on by the husbands.
Yes, that's true.
The husband's encouraging it.
Yes.
Yes.
Support for today's Juicy Scoop comes from Honeylove. Honeylove has revolutionized the wireless bra game. Their bras feature supportive bonding that eliminates the need for uncomfortable wires and unnecessary bulk. You deserve a bra that's lightweight and comfortable without sacrificing support. Embrace freedom, flexibility, and comfort with Honeylove's wire-free bras. Plus, they're made with fabric that's so soft, you'll forget you're wearing it. For a more relaxed lounge bra, I recommend their V-Bra. It offers the support of a traditional bra without the uncomfortable underwire. Like, why did we suffer with underwire all these years? Honeylove, thank you. It's designed to lift and separate with molded cups and is not a shelf-like bra, so you won't get that uni-bra effect. It's fabulous, but it doesn't stop there. Honeylove has more than just bras. They have incredible, comfortable shapewear that cinch in my waist like nothing else. Pair your V-neck bra with their breathable and versatile leggings. Honeylove has you covered for everyday look, workouts, weddings, and more. Honeys, you need this in your life. No more sacrificing. Honeylove is not just supporting women, it's empowering women. Treat yourself to the best bras on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/juicy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off. honeylove.com/juicy. Find your perfect fit. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support Juicy Scoop and tell them I sent you. Elevate your comfort, elevate your style with bras that empower your lifestyle of flexibility. I know we are all freaking out about the price of groceries, and maybe you realize, oh my gosh, how much am I really spending on eating out or having food delivered? I would like to really budget that down and see the hard truth that you probably shouldn't be spending that much. That's what I love about Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and have saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features. I love how the dashboard shows me the monthly spending compared to last month so that I can clearly see my spending habits. Plus, they'll help me create a custom budget and keep my spending on track. Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lower bills for you by up to 20%. All you have to do is submit a picture of your bill and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. They'll deal with the customer service for you. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/juicy. That's rocketmoney.com/juicy. rocketmoney.com/juicy. Okay, so both of you were raised in the church.
Correct.
Yes.
Both of your parents are still in it.
Yes.
Correct.
And so what was your relationship with watching reality TV growing up? Were you fans of reality TV? Did you watch Housewives?
Yes, my mom is obsessed with keeping up with the Kardashians. In fact, when I told her all of this was happening with the show, she was like, "You're gonna be a Kardashian." She's Hispanic. She's like, "Kardashian, you're gonna be Kardashian."
So she wasn't
manifested
worried.
it.
She wasn't worried about it at all.
No, she's all about this.
My
for
mom's
sure.
an actual pioneer.
She's a pioneer. Just kidding.
No, she is.
What does a pioneer mean?
I grew up watching Little House on the Prairie.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not kidding. You think I'm joking? It was the Carpenters and Little House on the Prairie.
Stop it.
Oh.
No,
You're
when
kidding.
people
The Carpenters as singers, you mean?
oh yeah,
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Well, you know what happened to her.
I know. God bless. R.I.P. But she's amazing. She's
Yes.
amazing. And I love that I grew up on the classics. I will say I had a very bubble wrapped safe childhood. My mom was like, close your eyes. We'd go to the strip in Vegas and she'd be like, everyone look forward, don't look down, don't look up.
Why are you going to the strip in Vegas?
Because my dad wasn't a member of the church and he liked to gamble. Yeah. So
And,
I did not know
and
that.
so
Yes.
how many
Oh, yeah.
how many kids are in your family?
4 in total.
What number are you?
I'm 2.
Oh, okay. And so was that hard for your mother to marry a non-Mormon?
Absolutely. They got pregnant actually out of wedlock. And they came from my mom came from a very strong Greek Orthodox family who converted to Mormonism.
Oh.
And Greeks are just intense. We're
Right.
just very, as I'm sure you've seen so
Yeah.
far. But we're just intense. We're passionate. We, feel things very deep. And so it was from Greek Orthodox to Mormonism, we're all in. And so she got pregnant out of wedlock. And her mom was like, you get married immediately. And so it was just one of those things where it's
Are
like.
your parents still together today?
They are, yeah.
Okay.
It's been rocky, but still together.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, it was a rocky road. I mean, as you can imagine, just the being so in the church and then not at all. If you don't have like even a similarity in like what you believe.
You mean with her husband? And
Yes, with my
he's
dad.
never come around.
No, he got baptized when I was 16.
So now he is Mormon.
Yes, but majority of my childhood, it was like, what is going on? Like,
Yeah.
it was such a stark contrast.
And did your dad enjoy drinking or no?
Yes, so he drank and smoked and
Okay.
did all the things, and it was just the type of thing where he would hide it from my mom or hide it from us. It was just toxic, you know? There was no gray. My mom was like, this is right, this is wrong. And so in my mind, it was always like, my dad's bad, my mom's good. And that's never healthy for a kid to like grow up thinking that about their parents, you know? So it definitely created some weirdness in my mind.
So I grew up Catholic, and I
Okay.
remember my mom being like, "Oh, they're Mormon down the street," and the girl did get pregnant. And I remember her sitting on the lawn pregnant, and I felt sort of sorry for her. And then we never knew, like, I think they maybe gave the baby up for adoption or whatever. And so I never really understood what the difference was between Catholic, Christian, Protestant, Mormon. And then when I was in a mom's group, I met this girl who was raised Catholic who married this Mormon guy. And he actually was a director of all these TV shows. And I went to her house and she was like, "Oh, would you want this bottle of champagne?" And I go, "Oh, yeah, she, they're Mormon. They don't drink." And I'm like, "Yeah." I go, "Who would give you that?" And she's like, "Oh, every time my husband gets a job, his Hollywood agent gives him a bottle of champagne." I'm like, "Doesn't he know that he's Mormon?" And she's like, "No, and please don't tell anybody."
Oh.
Because we could be like blackballed from Hollywood from working.
Oh, I believe it.
So he had to act like,
He wasn't.
whatever, like he wasn't.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, wait, is that real? Like, is that really true that people can't be who they are in Hollywood? And it is true
Yeah.
to an extent, for sure. Or just keep your mouth shut, or just don't share your actual feelings.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh. And so I kept asking her, I'm like, what is the difference? And so in the most simple way that I understand it, and tell me if I'm wrong, and then we'll move on to the juicy stuff, because I think so many people don't really understand. We all hear about the garments and the being strict, and you believe in Jesus. But is it that you believe that Jesus, what is the difference? That you believe that Jesus was not in Jerusalem, but in Utah, or just a prophet from Utah got sent these messages and created a religion from Jesus? Which is it?
Yeah, we believe in the Jesus that you believe in.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
we are the Bible meets the Book of Mormon. We call it the restored gospel of Jesus
Okay.
Christ. So it fell off and then it came back through Joseph Smith and was restored through Joseph Smith the prophet. So it's
Got it.
the same Jesus, the same God that you're taught about in Catholic.
Yes, and people think that we're trying to make the Book of Mormon like replace the Bible. That's not the case at all. It's just
Okay.
another testament of Jesus Christ.
Just
so we
got
love
it.
the Bible,
Knowledge, yeah.
and yeah,
Okay, good. Like, I think that's, and then we know that for many years, polygamy has not been part of the church, but it was 200 years ago, it was. Kind
It was
of,
for a
or
short,
for some
yeah,
people.
for a
It
short
was.
period of time during the time of restoring the gospel
Okay.
and bringing people back.
from my understanding is it was with the intention of trying to convert as many people as possible. And I mean, I don't know too much about like the details of like the history and whatnot, but yeah, I mean, we believe that more women are probably going to go to heaven than men just because there are more women. And so, yeah, it was the intention with trying to convert as many people. And because like we value the temple so much and going through the temple, it was the intention of trying to get as many women as we could to get through the temple.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yes.
Okay. So, as I'm watching this, it seems like there's a big question of, oh my gosh, how angry the church must be that you guys are giggling and having fun, like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Letting loose.
And I believe, whether they've told you this or not, but I think the Mormon church loves this. I think they love it. I don't even think they're mad about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City either, because if the whole thing is to let people know about the word and the youth goes off for 2 years, how better to get the word out than through influencers and reality TV and showing fun, happy people that are still taking the elements from the church to live the best of their life.
Right,
for sure. I can't tell you how many people who have gotten baptized after watching the Book of Mormon story play. Like, I know countless of people, and they just converted or just out of curiosity. They're like, okay, wait, what is this religion all about? This is crazy. And ended up reading the Book of Mormon and then got baptized. So, yeah, I'm also seeing this as an opportunity to, like, share more about our faith. And also, like, I hope everyone can see our friend group, and anyone who doesn't feel like they would be welcome, they can see our friend group and think, oh wait,
they're crazy too.
Wait, I can I can
They're
be crazy
nutbags
and
just
be,
like me.
No, like literally.
Yeah, like they're out
Yeah.
here trying to figure out their way. They're out here trying to figure out their path, and they're stumbling and falling just like me. Like, we're not these butter churning,
Speaking
bonnet
of butter
wearing.
churning and influencers, how do you guys feel about Ballerina Farms, who
I
I've
think
talked
she's
about on
amazing.
the show?
I'm obsessed with her.
She's awesome.
So just to remind you guys, this is the girl that was a ballerina, fell in love with her husband. The husband comes from a lot of money. The dad owns JetBlue. But now they have a farm and a very successful business together where they make food that you can buy. And she's got 9 million followers. And there was a big backlash about her because she did an interview, and the author of the interview, the journalist, people believe that she wrote it to be that this woman was trapped.
Yeah.
And then she came forward and said, no, I'm not, trapped. So I do feel like her videos are very much like Little House on the Prairie, making the things from scratch.
There's beauty in that.
Oh, yes.
Listen, I'm
Yes.
here for it. And I think people will be so quick to find the negative or find the hole that they can just be like, well, I feel that way in some way, so they must feel that way too. And at the end of the day, like, there's seasons of life. And maybe this is her season of life, and then she goes and finds something for herself that she loves even more than this, or maybe this is her thing that she loves for herself. I don't know. I think I don't think it's fair to say that she's trapped. Like, there's a lot of people that enjoy being a mother, that enjoy being a homemaker and a wife. Like, that's okay. And I hope that we showcase that in our show as well, because we got a couple homesteaders. We got people who are just like, I'm headed into that era myself. I'm like, I've done this for 10 years. My goal is to take opportunities that I can turn into passion projects, such as yourself, and like have that be something that I always do, to have that creative outlet, but also to be able to focus on like my family. I would love to homestead. I would love to have like things that I create myself at home and like be a mom and a wife at home. And so I think it's okay to want that. And I think it's okay to have that season of life as well, and then be like, hey, now I want to be a boss bitch, and like just focus on that, like Jessie in our group,
Yes.
So
Jesse's the one who has the hair business.
the hair business,
Yes.
yeah. And you can't have it all the time, but that's why I like to say the seasons of life, like it ebbs and flows, and you move through it. And
I want to say, as a woman, you can have it most.
Yes.
No one can
Yes.
have it all.
No
but
one
you can have it
all.
most.
Yes.
if you try.
Yes.
But, so let's get. So you are married to an Affleck.
Yes.
So explain how he is related to Ben Affleck, your husband.
Yes. So he is my father-in-law's second cousin. So my husband's dad's second cousin.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I haven't met him, Ben Affleck specifically. Zach hasn't met him. But his dad has, and it like was a long time ago at like a family reunion.
So then somewhere down the line from these grandparents that were
Yes.
siblings,
we're really
one became Mormon. Because
Yes.
Ben was not raised Mormon.
No.
He was born in Massachusetts,
you know what?
Boston.
I actually don't know for sure. I don't think he was, but
You know what? I don't know either, but I would guess just being
Yes.
Boston, it's probably, an Irish Catholic thing, but that's
Yes.
just a stereotype. Who knows?
yes.
Yeah.
But
I'd love to
okay.
ask him.
Yeah,
Ben,
okay.
Ben, were you raised Mormon?
Ben, do you know who the Mormons are?
You read the Book of Mormon?
Okay, so, and then you met your husband where?
I met my husband through mutual.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we come from completely different families. There's no way we would have
But
ever
were you
crossed paths.
raised?
Yes,
Mormon?
I was raised Mormon. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, great.
Yes.
And I thought it was really interesting on the episode. You said that your mom works at the same hospital as his dad, but his dad's a heart surgeon and your mom is in janitorial or?
Yeah, so she's literally a cleaning lady in the hospital, which is so crazy.
Still.
And that was before
Is she
you
still?
met?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. But we didn't even really like put two and two together. Yeah,
Wow.
that's how
Yeah.
different our families are. Like
But they get along well?
yes, I was raised with foster kids and I shared my bedroom with these children my whole life.
Oh,
shared
your
my
mom
closet.
took in foster
yes,
children. Oh,
yes.
that's lovely.
And Zach, definitely was just. I was raised poor, and he was raised with a lot of money, and I mean, it's funny. I feel like I relate to Ballerina Farm so much because, in a way, I mean, I don't know if she personally came from money, but marrying into a wealthy family when you don't come from a lot of family and having the same religion can cause like a lot of like issues and expectations and but I love seeing just Ballerina Farm and how she like handles everything and because I feel like I don't know, like sorry, I'm like going all over the place.
No,
I'm like, I'm, like,
I understand what you're
rambling.
saying. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think what's really interesting is, I think the reason that Mormons in America, there's so many that are successful and have successful businesses is because they do make them go out and be rejected for 2 years straight.
That's
For
like the hardest
sure.
thing you can
And
do.
I mean, that's being the best salesman in the world is that you don't let
Yeah.
the rejection keep you going. And I think you get that training as trying to recruit people to the church and how many people must say no and get away and look at you like a weirdo. And then you do your business and you have that same like tough skin. And then also I think pushing people to get married young, also you're not, and I'm just bringing it up. You're not fucking around in
Yes.
Vegas, spending your money on bottle service all
Yeah.
throughout your 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
You're actually like, okay, let's work really hard so we can buy this house. Okay, now.
Yeah.
But then you might wake up at 28 and go, would you like to go swing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I
No.
didn't get to go to the bottle service in Vegas. So there's the the switcheroo.
Yes, and not only that, like I feel like in the Mormon culture, like everyone's all about image and how you look and looking perfect, and I think that causes like comparison, and it causes people to, just like meeting up with the Joneses. It causes people to like want to be better than the other person, and that's where I think, the success, comes in within like the Mormon culture and why so many people are successful is just, there's just so much comparison and so much like, okay, who can look the best, be the best type of thing.
That's also kind of interesting too because, vanity, it's oftentimes that's one of the seven
definitely
sins,
bleeds into
right?
it, yes.
But I guess it's okay to look as pretty as you want. You could go to the beauty lab, Heather Gay's beauty lab, and it was one of the scenes as you guys are getting Botox, which I never got in my 20s, but go for it and prevent that shit. And I've never heard, I mean, I just got it the other day at Dr. Nassif's office, and I didn't have any, I didn't even have numbing cream. But you guys are doing laughing gas.
Yeah.
And
I've never heard of
something
that's
that they
next level.
That's
that
next
is something
level.
that they only do in Utah. I've never heard of someone needing laughing gas for a Botox shot.
Yeah, I've never heard of that actually. I've never
literally.
had that done, but that's next level. You've done that?
Yes.
Oh my
yes.
gosh,
It's
yeah.
amazing. It's a game changer. You don't feel a thing.
And,
Literally.
and then you get a little high, a little
yes,
fun
it's great.
high.
I'm like, we're having a
because-
good time with my
because-
girlfriends. We're laughing, getting Botox. It's great.
Because some of you drink and some of you don't.
Yes. There's
And
only
do
one person.
You don't drink, right?
No, I
And
don't
do
drink.
you?
I don't. I used to. I don't.
Oh, you used to.
I did for a short stint post divorce. It was a dark
So
time,
you got
but no.
married. You got married
our dark
before
time.
this current husband, and this current husband is a bit older than you.
He is, yeah, 16
He's-
years older.
Okay. And so, what was your first marriage about?
So I had an age gap in my first marriage as well.
Oh, okay.
12 years.
Uh-huh.
And I was 18 when I met him. He was 29. Is that the right math? Yeah, we got married at 20 and 31. So just a similar story in the Mormon culture where I'm 20 years old getting married. I'm older. I'm married to an older guy who has lived life, gone through college.
Was he Mormon too?
Yes, yes. And he still is very straight.
And did you have any kids with him?
Yes, so that's my daughter.
Oh, that's your one biological child. And then you
Yes.
have two-step, because then how did you find your husband that we see on the show?
So I've known of him through family friends. We have kind of a wild story.
Well, let's hear it.
Yeah,
It's called Juicy Scoop for a reason.
Yeah. We joke around and say I've known him since I was 10 and he was 26 and he was married with I think one kid at the time. Such a wild thing. But the crazy thing is we never really crossed paths. We never
But you
met
knew
each
because
other.
of the church?
No. So his family has a wild story. So his sister was married to Larry King. His dad managed Marie Osmond for 35 years.
Oh, wow.
And they were just in the entertainment industry. And so everyone kind of knew the Engelmans and knew the Kings. And my best friend's dad was good friends with the Engelmans. And so I grew up like knowing of him. He was the star quarterback at BYU, the Mormon school in Provo. And so I just had always heard of him. And I was like, he's so hot. Like I always just had like this little girl crush on him. Yeah. I was like, I don't know. I've always liked older men.
She's always been into the daddies.
Yeah, I've always been into the daddies. Yeah. So he gets married, has kids. I'm growing up, and he gets divorced, gets remarried, and I had known of his second wife, and we both were kind of like, oh, are we sure? Whatever. It didn't last long. He was married for like 5 months. Ended up playing out the way that we all thought. Gets divorced. So my husband and I, my ex-husband at the time, or my ex-husband, we run into Brett at the gym and we're like, what is going on? Like, why, like, what is your luck? Like, you need to go on The Bachelor or something. And he was like, never. I never would. And we're like, no, we're literally nominating you. You're going. You are perfect. You're such a catch. Like, you need to go. He was like, don't
And
you
you're
dare.
saying this with your current first husband.
Yes.
To this one that then became your second husband.
Yes.
All while you're doing, were you doing squats while you were having this conversation?
Yes. No hip thrusts. I was
Yeah.
like,
Hip thrust. I knew it.
no.
And
so
were you thinking anything like, I still
No.
have a crush on this guy and I'm not really happy with my current husband, or everything was peachy at this moment?
I always thought Brett was cute, but I was super like, I think I was pretty freshly married to my husband and we were
Okay.
navigating all of those waters. So it was more just like, oh my gosh, I've had a crush on you like most of my life. This is crazy, you know?
Yeah.
And crazy that I haven't run into you more. And my ex-husband was working on like a business deal with Brett. And they were like trying to make connections in business. And then he also had connections in the modeling world, was trying to get my daughter to do like modeling gigs, whatever. So they had been in contact. So ran into him. We're like, we're nominating you. He was like, don't you dare. Like, I'll kill you guys. I could never do it. Not for me. We go home. We nominate him. They call him the next day and they're like, get out here. It was Claire's season.
Oh, wow.
So they call him out. He does all the B-roll, all the interviews, everything, geared up, ready to go. And I'd had a few friends that had been on Bachelor, so I knew how it worked. I saw that they had to take their Instagram pages down, and I'd followed Brett since I was like 18 years old. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's there. Like, his page is down. He's there. Crazy. So 2 months goes by. I'm like, I can't wait to see this. Like, we made this happen. This is insane. And then one day I see him posting that he like something football related to his sons. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, why is he posting? Like, they haven't even filmed yet. So I message him, I'm like, what is going on? Like, how do you have your account up? And he responds, he's like, they sent everyone home because of COVID. The day before
this is
he met.
COVID time.
Yes,
Okay.
so COVID time. So they sent everyone home the night before he met Claire. And they came home. Meanwhile, I'm going through it with my husband. We're like, are we figuring this out? Are we not? Therapy, back and forth, back and forth. Finally, I'm like, I can't do it anymore. So we separate. Brett comes home, and like a few weeks later, we connect, hit it off.
How did you connect? He DM'd you back.
Yeah, so he actually mentioned, he was like, oh, by the way, I heard back on something related to my ex. He was like, let him know, I'll call him. And I was like, funny story, we're actually separated. And he was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like,
Oh, I'm sure
what?
he was so
Yeah, he's like, I'm so
sorry.
sorry,
He's
let
like,
me
so
come
sorry.
over,
Yeah.
let me console you. Yeah. No, he was definitely
This is
like,
the worst news.
yeah.
Let's go do some hip thrusts.
Yeah. He's like, if you need, and he was respectful and sweet, but he was very much so like, I've been through this twice. I know how it goes. Like, this sucks. Like, if you need anyone to like talk about it, like, I'm here. I'm like, yes, you are, baby.
How are they how does the father of your child and your new husband get along now?
Best friends.
Oh, they're okay.
They're okay. There was a little bit of weirdness in the beginning, for sure, of just like adjusting. But my ex-husband's so mature and just like gets life, and he's like, life's complicated. And
Does
it
he
is
have
what
a
it
new
is.
woman?
He does. They just got sealed in the Newport Beach temple, like 3
So now,
days ago.
how do you? So here's my
Yeah.
question about
That's where I got sealed.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my question about divorce. Okay.
Yeah.
In the Mormon church, I know how it works in the Catholic Church. You have to get what is the name of it? Annulled. Okay.
Okay.
Which is very hard to prove. It's almost like you got to get your own like Catholic lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And then like anything else, sometimes people throughout history that had more power and money could get annulled. You have to prove that like there was some type of deception or, cheating, or it can't just be like,
'Cause you want to.
Like we're
Yes.
domestically, we don't get along. He fucking snores and I hate his guts.
Yeah.
It can't be that. It has to be
Yes.
something more. And that's only because you might want to get married again in the church.
Right.
Otherwise, you
Yes.
can get divorced, you get married. You can still go to church. You can still, whatever. So what is the rule? How is it that you get unsealed and then get resealed with somebody else in the Mormon church?
It's kind of a process. So I actually, and it's complicated because the men can technically be sealed to multiple women. But women, if you want to, like if I wanted to get sealed to Brett, I'd have to break my seal and I'd have to like go get that broken. My ex-husband and his wife were already trying to get married. Like they got married civilly first and then they just got sealed a year later in the Newport Beach temple. And so they went through that process and got that seal broken. So now at this point, like I can get married to Brett in the temple, no problem. So,
But if you didn't do it, do you have any feeling of like, oh my God, if we both died in a car crash tomorrow, I wouldn't be in heaven with my current husband? I mean, do you feel
No.
you don't believe that, right?
no, I just like have a firm belief that everything works out. Like I think
Yeah.
we're doing the best we can down
Yeah.
here. I think
Yeah.
we're all a bunch of
So if
little
you
kids
want to
trying to
go
figure
through
it
that
out.
process, you will. When you
Yeah,
when you
and-
feel like you have the time or whatever.
Yeah, we're working towards it for
Okay.
sure. We've definitely been like up and down with the church with like following all the guidelines and figuring out our place in that. And so I went through the temple when I was 20 years old and made a major commitment that I would wear my garments and that I would do specific things and go to the temple regularly. And I wasn't ready to make that decision. And I think that's a lot of people. You go out as a 19-year-old kid on a mission and you commit to do all these things. And it's like, wait, I
Not
didn't
ready.
didn't
Yeah.
really know what I was committing to. And I think it all works out in the end, like either way. But for us, like, yeah, we are working towards going to the temple and being sealed. But I don't worry necessarily that, like, if we were to die, like, would I ever see you again? I think we all end up in the same place anyway. Like, I think
100%.
majority of us have incredible intentions and are doing our best. And, like, we'll ultimately end up where we want to be. That's
and
my
I think a
belief.
true loving God isn't going to be like, well, you didn't break your sealing, and so you have to be here. No, a loving God is,
So,
you know,
I mean, it seems like people in your circle, from your current husband willing to go on The Bachelor, that reality TV is something that you guys thought was fun. You maybe kind of always thought in your head you'd want to do. Was there any holdback of when you look at like Housewives and things like that, and how it can really destroy families, so many divorces and stuff? Was anybody in your world being like, I don't think you should do this show?
oh, my husband personally didn't want to do the show. And I told him, like, no, I really want to do this. Like, it hasn't been a dream of mine to be a reality TV star, but it's always been a dream of mine to be on camera. And I do feel like taking this opportunity will lead to other opportunities.
So
And
you always kind of wanted to perform and be an actor, but you didn't
Yes.
necessarily go get an agent, do these things, which
Yes.
is what is great about reality TV, is that you instantly are a star of a show without having to take all these steps. But then the other side of it is you don't just take off your outfit and leave the trailer and be your private person at home. It's 24/7 really, especially with social
Exactly.
media too.
No, and at least for me, I really went into the show with the intention of wanting to share my own personal story and my journey, which I truly feel like can inspire non-members and members. And just, yeah, I wanted to make it very clear that we're all different and our relationship with God looks different. And I mean, everybody's relationship with God looks different. And yeah, I think also with my husband going into med school, I didn't actually feel like we had an option, because being the provider, I saw this as a huge opportunity for me to be able to make money and help us get through medical school, because
Right.
I personally want to be able to provide and tell my kids, no, I paid for our medical school. I got us through it. It was me. And I wanted to be that person for personally my daughter, to let her know that you can do anything you set your mind to, and that looks different. Like, you don't have to go to school. You could be literally a young mom at home twerking on her countertop, and that can pay the bills. Like, you can do anything you set your mind to. But no, that's really why I personally want to do the show. And also just, I also wanted to represent the church in the way that like we are all different. We're not all like the cookie cutter Mormon that you see. Like we all like to work and we also like to bake.
Yeah, well, and that there's no cookie cutter. Like everyone thinks there
Yes.
is this cookie cutter, and I'm excited to break that stigma.
Yes.
So were there rumblings going around of like we'd love to focus on a group of Mormon young mom TikTokers? I heard that there was that kind of search among different production companies, even like what could this be? And then
scandal.
And then the scandal happened when she did. So then she does this video. Let's get back to Taylor. She decides to do this video exposing all of this. And why did she decide to do that? Was it because she got sucked into social media commentary that had exposed it somewhere else?
I think that it had been exposed on Reddit, and I keep getting the story mixed up, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty certain that someone in the group had exposed her cheating scandal because she ended up taking it to the point of having sex with one of them, which that was like crossing their group boundary.
Okay.
And that got exposed. So then when she started to look like they were demonizing her, she came out and was like, I wasn't the only one involved
Got
in this.
it. Okay. Got it. And what was that day like when you're just like, is your phone just like, like
Yeah, it was
everybody
nuts.
texting each other or
well,
what?
at least for me, I wasn't part of Mom Talk when that was going down.
Okay.
I was just like a follower, like an observer. I wasn't
Okay.
part of the group. And for me, I was just like, oh my gosh, like I want to know the tea. Like I was
Right.
like, give me the tea.
It was wild.
And were you friendly? So you were friendly with Taylor at
Oh,
that time?
yeah. I was at the parties. I was friends with her. I'd gone to multiple Mom Talk events. I had my stepsons coming home from school being like, my teachers and my classmates are asking me, like, if you guys are swingers. Like, my younger one's like, what's a swinger? I'm like,
You're like,
And what
"Oh,
did you
poor
say?
kids. I mean-
These are your kids that are 19 and 16, your
Yes,
stepchildren.
my
So
stepkids,
what
yeah.
did you say to that?
I think we just were like, it's not true. And at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter what people think. And, like, sorry you had to deal with that, but also, like, it's not true. You can either tell them that or just say, none of your business, you know?
Yeah.
So I think we just kind of handled it the best that we could, but it was just wild. We're like, how? Like, I had been a part of Mom Talk for a few months, and then all of a sudden it's like everyone's asking me, so how was it swinging? Like, who were you swinging
Now I
with?
want to know, and maybe you have the answer, you don't, but throughout time, or at least the last 10, 20 years, have there been secret swinging groups within the church?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, so
Yes.
this is like a common thing. And
Yeah.
is it this soft swinging that's like everything but penetration?
I don't
I
know.
think that was specifically just Taylor's situation.
Yeah, that was their way of justifying their behavior. I
Okay.
think,
Yes.
like, if we could take it this far but not too far, then
until it just became swinging.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which happens a lot in the Mormon culture again.
Oh.
Even just not related
Like
to
is,
swinging.
is like
but just
soaking
like,
a real thing?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
And
Yes.
soaking is you can put your penis in a vagina,
But don't
not
move.
but not thrust. So then you have your friend jump on the bed, so it would so that it's
what
so then
the
it's
point is that?
but is that is all a real thing? This
Yeah,
is not like a
that's-
joke.
oh,
so
it's
then
a
you
real
have your
thing.
friend jump on the bed, so then you're not thrusting, but you're inadvertently being able to thrust and get some pleasure out of it.
Yeah, it's very strange at that point. Just do it.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
But that
at
is
that
real.
point,
It's real. Yeah.
Okay.
The
What's the
gate.
intention behind it?
Yeah. It's the same. So
It's
just do
the
it.
same.
Gazing, docking, soaking.
What's
Derfing.
gazing?
Derfing.
What's
gazing
gazing?
is like they take their clothes off and you just look at them.
Okay. And then
Okay.
what's the next one?
Docking is when you just dock it. Soaking.
Oh, dock the boat, but don't rock it.
Don't rock it.
Okay,
Don't
go.
you dare rock
That's
it.
cute.
And
Okay, what else?
I didn't even know this.
Soak, I'm pretty certain, is the one where you like have a buddy help you out.
Okay.
Jump on the bed. And then derfing is just the high school, you know.
Just dry humping.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
zipper
my
sparking.
that's my favorite.
Yeah. She's like high school. I still
love
do
it.
that.
I
I was all
love it.
about that.
Dry hump is all what it's about. Okay, so let's get into so Whitney. What I love about the show is I know we've talked a lot about Mormons in the title, but I really think the something that I think is more universal to why you'd like the show is that to me it's really the behind the scenes of these social media TikTok stars that you see, and you feel like you have so much insight into their home because you're watching their videos. But this is really like oh, I have this sponsor. Oh, and then a little bit of the jealousy that goes on. Like, it's really great when people collaborate, but there is also that kind of jealousy when you bring someone on and you tag them and they get all these followers, and then later on they blow you off, or they feel entitled, or they're like, or they have an opportunity and they don't invite you to do the big video with the star. Like,
You
things
just
like
described
that.
the whole world,
Yeah.
literally in a
Yes.
few sentences. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's what I think is a kind of a very interesting conversation that hasn't really been had yet.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of see it. So we see this girl, Whitney, who she takes off after the scandal for a couple months and then comes back with her husband, Connor, and she has a couple kids. And we see Connor, and she reveals to you guys that the reason she left is that, again, on the Reddit or whatever, it was revealed that he was on Grindr.
Grinder.
No,
Or
I'm just
Tinder.
kidding. It's Tinder.
I was like, oh,
It's Tinder.
no. I was like,
I just wanted to
Newsflash.
see if you guys would catch my
Oh
joke.
my gosh. I was like, did you know this? Am
well,
I out of
you've
it?
seen it, so I'm like, oh no, it's way worse than we thought. That got me so
No, but
good.
when I was watching it, I was like, oh, I know the joke I'm going to tell. Because
my
if I was
gosh.
to guess, I think I would have guessed Grindr. But whatever, they say Tinder. So she says he's flirting with people
Yes.
on
It
Tinder,
would have
but he
been
never
better if it
met
was
someone in
mutual.
person.
Yes.
Can you imagine?
Yes. Oh no.
What's mutual?
A Mormon dating app. That's how I met my. That's how I met my husband.
Oh, okay.
Grinder's way worse.
Yes. Oh yeah.
But no, it was Tinder, and that comes out that he was, flirting. And what I really thought was juicy, and I had seen this going around, I never put two and two together. I recently just saw someone post, like a couple days ago, let's never forget this moment where this mom danced as her kid was, in the NICU.
Yeah.
And so Whitney reveals that she does have some well, she won't say she's jealous, but the girls think that she's jealous of Taylor because Taylor got to easily bounce back in her mind from the forms of comments people.
Which, can I add,
yes.
she's still bouncing back from. So that is so false that it
Yes.
was just like a bounce back. Like, she deals with that daily.
Yeah.
And it weighs heavy on their relationship. I was talking to Dakota about it the other day, and he was
And
like,
Dakota is Taylor's
boyfriend.
and also the father of her child. Because after
Yes.
after the swinging thing, she gets divorced. Mm-hmm. She has two kids with that husband, and then she meets this other guy who also is he a TikTok influencer person?
He is, yeah. He does social media, and it's crazy because everyone thinks that he's the guy that she cheated with. In every article, it's Dakota, who she had the affair with. And just to clear that up, that is not true. She did know Dakota in the midst of the swinging stuff. So that was a completely new relationship, post-swinging, post-divorce.
And what's interesting about Dakota is he comes along and he is honest about his addiction. He was addicted to fentanyl. Thank God he got out of that.
I know.
And but he's a real cute guy and happy to be on camera like everybody else, which I think is good. I think you got to have everyone down to put on the mic. And then so with him, then he comes along and they have a baby. Well, they get pregnant, and unfortunately she miscarries. But then she gets pregnant again, and we see her pregnant in the show. And that baby is 6 months old. And they are not married yet.
No.
And but
in
they've had their
progress.
issues because they've had cops called when like wicked fights have happened. Neighbors have called cops. And so that's so she's kind of like, going through some stuff.
For sure.
So Whitney thinks that she bounced back too quickly.
Yeah,
and
not the
Whitney's
case.
bitter because Whitney had a scare with her son with RSV. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
With like a infantile breathing situation. It can be really scary. And then when she got better,
When she got better.
when she got better news that the child was doing better.
Yes.
The child was still not at home. The child was in still a hospital situation with a plastic crib wrapped up. And then she started to do the dance where you do the writing, where it's like, when you're happy that your child, da 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 da. And she did the hit. And
The way she's describing the situation, I'm dead. In a
And so-
plastic crib wrapped up. it is like the most. Like when you put it that way, I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, it would kind of be different if she was
goodness.
like,
yeah.
my baby's home, I'm feeding him or whatever, or
Yeah.
like, oh my God, we made it back.
Like,
and
yes.
so she's like, the intention was just, I was just so happy. I had to dance about it. But then, was it you? Wait, was it you? Kind of reveal,
Was it in Park City?
you sort of reveal that at one time she was vulnerable, which I won't give everything away. And she said, I did it because I wanted to get that attention and likes and all of that stuff. And, that is just part of our world now.
I know.
And I believe everybody that has more than 100 followers is thirsty.
100%.
If you are on Facebook and it's only 86 people because you want to show your kid off to grandma, I believe you're not thirsty.
Yeah.
If you have 87 people, you're thirsty.
Yes.
You're thirsty. You're trying to do something with this. You're on it. You're active. You are like,
People are watching
I
you.
need to
I
feel
care.
like
Yes.
what was the response to this? And many of us make a living at it, and then others don't. And you get wrapped up just like anything else. You see that you weren't invited to a party, and that makes you sad. You see that a lot of people liked your thing, and it's just part of our world. And I don't really think it should be criticized anymore because it's part of our world.
Yeah, and I will say this, that I think she wanted the same treatment that Taylor was receiving, which she wasn't receiving good treatment. But I think that the difference that people saw was that she was willingly putting her son, who was obviously not doing well, on camera, doing the dance right there. And regardless of what the intentions were or what was going on behind camera, Taylor didn't create her scandal. Like, it just happened.
Right.
And so I think the difference was, no, you actually went on and put the video on and did this whole thing. You yourself uploaded that and did that. Whereas Taylor, anything that's been shared has been, besides the video of her coming on after it had already leaked, has been against her will. And so that's the difference there, and why I even said anything in the first place was because I think it was Macy that was kind of defending her. Well, her intentions, I'm like, but she's the one that posted it, and she admitted that that was her intention. And that's the difference in that situation. But I also go on record saying that TikTok, especially then when she posted that, was wild, wild west. Everyone was throwing up the most gnarly videos to see what would stick. It was such a new platform. And so I give her grace because I did the same thing. I've deleted so many videos that I'm like, ew, cringy. Why would I say that? Why would I post that? Ew, that kind of exposes my daughter a little bit. I don't like that. That exploits her a little bit. Like, so
Right. I do think there's been more of a
curve.
mirror now.
Yeah.
Where we do talk about, a big part of it, and that was going to get to my next question, is, and I've talked a lot about it on this show, I think Illinois is the first state to make a law that children should be getting money from the parents making money off of social media.
Yeah.
I agree.
So if you had a big cereal brand come to you and your child's eating it and you do it and you get 20 grand, then you should put,
Money away.
15, 20% into an account for
Ooh,
your
yeah.
child.
That's a really good idea.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Especially because, she's using, and, people have, we were Hollywood kids. We had an agent. My sister made a lot of money off of it, way more than me. Then she went on to be an attorney. And back then, I remember they were like, yeah, we're getting an addition. And they were like, thanks to Shannon's Bold 3 commercial. Like,
Yeah.
my sister doesn't care. They paid for her, college and law school. Like, well, actually, she paid for her own law school. But
Yeah.
Had she become the Disney star, and then I was driving a Mercedes, and I had a big house, and then my sister at 30 wasn't making that money again, that would seem pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? So it's like, I think now, because there's no rules like that, like there is, now for TV, I think they're trying to do it. But I think you can consciously do it, and maybe that can be something you can share with other influencers. And then also just being really careful that with some of these children that are just, so attractive and cute, and then people point out like, well, this has been shared 18 million times.
Yeah.
Now, why has this child eating a lollipop or a popsicle been saved 18 million times?
The world is
And so I think you have to
disgusting.
think about what kind, and then they kind of point out, oh, this mom knows that by
know.
having her daughter eat a hot dog and a popsicle, it does better.
And there has been cases
than if
like
it's
that.
Just,
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Then if it's just her coloring or being like, I want SpaghettiOs or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's weird, but I think in the show we barely see her kids. At least the first 4 episodes, I don't really see the kids at all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
no.
all were very purposeful.
Yes, it's really it's really hard trying to figure that out because part of us, wants to share like our mom life and what that's like and our children because that's literally our life, but it's also hard because we also want to protect our children and the world is so scary. So I think a lot of us are trying to figure out that balance and what is best for our family.
Yeah.
Right. And then the husbands, it's like you got to protect those husbands because I haven't seen a lot in which the men could really be criticized for. You have a blessing and your husband is like, we want to keep it smaller. We just want to keep it with the group that is actively.
She hasn't made it to Vegas yet.
She hasn't made it to Vegas.
What? Oh, I haven't made it to
No,
Vegas
don't
yet.
worry.
Oh, something happens where he gets mad. Okay, so, but you get ready for a lot of people coming out. Now, hopefully he'll be so busy in medical school that he won't see his DMs or
Yes.
I would take him off.
Yes, and he doesn't care.
Honestly, I would maybe not have my husband on it.
Oh,
on
yeah.
social.
And you know what?
Because I don't
that's
think they
probably
need
the
to
plan.
see like anybody say that. I think what always happens with housewives' husbands is these guys, traditional housewife husband is, let's say he's 50, he's made a lot of money. He's like, sure, darling, let's be on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Then everyone's like, you were a dick at breakfast. You have no jawline. And he's like, what? Like I'm a business,
jawline.
like I'm a businessman. Like what?
I made it.
And then I think he starts fighting with her. And then she's like, well, fuck you. This is my thing. And I'm going to keep doing the show.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, there's another divorce.
Yeah.
And so I think, like, I personally would just, if I was ever to be on something like that, and I wasn't me, like I was
Yeah.
just a girl that had never really been on TV, I'd be like, yeah, my husband's not on social.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something we're also trying to figure out. But he's also like in a way.
Also, weird women will want to
Yes.
DM them and like
Yes.
and fish and flirt just
Oh,
so
yeah.
that they can get clout and they can do a TikTok and they're like, hi, look who wrote me back.
No, absolutely. As of right now, I feel like my husband's just feeding into it because he's like, it's reality TV. Like we're almost seeing this as a job now, like not something that we're actually trying to take home, even though that's kind of what happened in our
Yeah.
situation. But moving forward, we're like, yeah, let's just like feed into this. And, as long as our relationship is good at home, then we move forward with this. If not, then maybe we have to
Step
away from
yeah.
it.
Do you
Yeah.
know any of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City women?
I don't, but you do.
I do, yeah.
Yes.
I know a few. I've known of Whitney for a long time, kind of like a family.
Yeah, you guys kind of have a similar
Connection.
story.
Yeah.
Second marriage, older.
Oh, it's very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't sign the papers to be taken off the church's list.
Oh, that's
but
right.
yeah.
They went through that. Their whole thing is leaving the church, bad Mormon.
Yeah.
Does that bother you at all as a Mormon, that stuff being put out there? You don't care?
Again, everybody has their own story,
That's
and
good.
I think everyone should be able to share their story.
Yeah. If we're allowed to talk about the things that we are in our perspective, then other people should too.
Yeah.
And so you kind of know her.
Yeah, I kind of know her. I've met Lisa a couple of times. Brett's ex-wife.
I love that. I love that for you.
Yeah.
Do you like the Vita tequila? It's so wonderful.
I've never had it, but I'm sure it would be wonderful. Brett's ex-wife was a friend of on the show.
Oh,
Her name's Angie Harrington.
I had her on my show.
What?
Yeah, I had Angie on.
No way.
Blonde Angie.
Yeah.
And are
Yeah.
you friendly with her?
Yeah, we all co-parent really great.
Yeah,
can't
I
complain about our
remember that
situation.
she said that when she came on. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
So yeah, there's some connections.
You guys, so you have. I feel like there was tentacles of reality TV like touching you.
For sure.
Like,
I know
it's, like,
it was
inevitable.
like
It
it was
almost
like it's
seems
coming for me, and now
Yeah.
it's got me, and now I got to make sure it doesn't get me.
Right.
I got to stay humble and awake, and just try to be
Yeah.
purposeful in how I move forward with it.
So do you think they're going to get jealous?
Who? The
The Real
housewives.
Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Oh, for sure.
I think so. Just yeah.
I would be.
I think
would be
so.
I would be a little jealous just because I feel like there's a new era. But I
Yeah.
feel, and I've talked about this because I kind of analyze housewives as well as have fun and do impressions of them. I feel like, the actual Real Housewives franchise, they redid New York. And I feel like Hulu and, Jeff Jenkins, who's the producer of your show, it's smart to kind of find different entities of this brand of watching women who are moms and friendships, different demographics, different ages, not necessarily all young.
Yeah.
They're going to, they're doing Snowbirds, which is going to be about New Yorkers who, are kind of retire or early retirement age in Palm Beach. I just think it's fun to watch different groups of people in America, and kind of see
seasons of life.
Yeah, and that Snowbirds is going to have like a gay couple. It's not going to be all women. There's going to be different kind of things that you can see. But I mean, personally, I'd be a little bit, not that there's one or the other, but I'd be a little bit like, I thought we were the only thing happening in Salt Lake City.
Well, well, I think the thing that made Real Housewives of Salt Lake City stick out was them being associated with Mormonism. But now that's like our whole show. Like, we're literally called The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see how that's threatening for them. I mean,
Yeah.
and we just have, I feel like we also have so much, there's just so many more factors to our show. We have Mormonism, and we're young, so that means that we also relate to the younger crowd,
much longer time,
and and the older crowd, as well as TikTok, the swinging scandal. I mean, there's just so many factors to our show.
The biggest thing that sets us apart is that I feel like there has been this long-standing notion in society to watch women tear each other apart and tear each other down and compare who wore the dress better and who did this better and whose husband, who did he marry next and all these things. Whereas in our group, we genuinely are friends. Like, we all are friends. We talk every single day.
Yeah.
We get together very frequently. We call each other when we're in a bind with our kids and watch each other's kids. And I feel like it's very typical for reality TV. They film, they leave. And they come back and they film and they catch up and then they leave. And a lot of them don't remain friends.
Leave, meaning
they
don't
leave.
hang out during shooting.
Don't hang out during shooting.
I mean,
or
not shooting.
Yeah, not
Didn't they
shooting.
sign papers to not see each other off
Oh,
camera
no.
too?
No,
that's not a thing.
No, they could see each other.
Okay.
They actually would want them to. They get mad if they get together
On
I've been
camera.
there at the Real Housewives of OC years ago, and we filmed Heather Dubrow's. Do you watch Real Housewives of OC at all?
No.
Oh, so this girl had a groundbreaking, let's break the ground. We're going to build this house. So she invited me. We were friendly. I came out to it, and then that was it. The shooting was done. And then that night, a couple of the other girls go, let's go to Mastro's Steakhouse. Let's go to Shannon Bedore's house. Then we're going to, and somehow a producer was texting, and he was so pissed that they were getting together and possibly talking shit about one of the housewives, and the cameras weren't there to see it.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh no, there's a little bit of that. Now, many people feel that Bravo, being kind of from men that started Bravo, gay men, whatever, misogynistic in some way, that these men are sort of controlling these Barbies, and I think women now are starting to see that, wait a minute, what it was this fuckery that we've watched for 15 years. Now, how do you think that you guys can navigate that not happening, that the powers that be won't be as? Do you feel that it's not like that on your show?
Yeah. What do you think? Because I feel like it is different.
Yeah,
I feel like it's a different vibe for sure.
No, and I feel like our producers have been, for the most part, amazing. And I feel like they want it to be as authentic as possible. And for it to be authentic, we still need our relationships outside of it and things to be separate from the show, because these are real friendships. And I think they noticed that and they valued that. And they also took advantage of that, but also monetized off of that, because you'll see in the show we're our complete authentic selves. We're completely vulnerable, and I think that's why we got such a good show, is because of that.
I think it's
Well,
rare.
I'm going to also say something about my generation. We are awful. We are
Yes.
meaner than the millennials. We are more jealous. We are bitchier. We are like the show Heathers, the movie Heathers. It's a different thing. And some of us grow out of it, and like are lovely, and some of us are still coming after. And I think that sometimes the fandom of Bravo and Housewives, it is so much because they love the girls and they're cool and everything. But then there's this weird jealousy between the fan at home and the star, and they'll bring them up and they'll tear them down, and they go at each. It's like a different kind of thing. And I've noticed in watching, younger women and their relationships and treating each other, and Gen Z as well, it is different. And there is a lot of positivity in the younger generation of women.
Yeah.
That
For
is
sure.
kind of fun to watch too.
Yeah,
For
it is
sure.
definitely the generation of learning better, doing better. And I do like that. And
Yeah.
I'm excited to bring that element into the
Yeah.
show and for people to have some wholesome in the reality TV world. Not that there's bits and pieces,
Yeah.
but I really hope people walk away feeling empowered and like watch it, and they're not feeling like, ugh, I need therapy after that. They're feeling like, I'm inspired by that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad that you guys came. Tell everybody where they can follow you personally.
Okay, on TikTok and Instagram, Demi Lucy May on TikTok and Instagram.
Yes, Jennifer Affleck. Just think of J-Lo and Ben Affleck. Jennifer Affleck. TikTok and Insta.
Yeah.
You're the new. Now you can.
Yes.
I'm the one and only Jen Affleck.
Right,
I'm the
because
last one standing.
She said, it was Jennifer Affleck, Jennifer Gardner Affleck, then Jennifer Lopez Affleck.
Yes.
And now there's just one Jen Affleck.
I'm the last one
So,
standing.
I love it. And of course, Mormon Wives is on Hulu. Starts September 6th. You can binge it. You can separate it. Those Mormons
Savor.
like sweets, but you can't have it all in one sitting. So separate your dessert or just watch it all. But and then follow the girls to get all the latest scoop and all their beauty hacks and everything, because you guys are all so cute, beautiful skin. And
Thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you. So good meeting you.
Thank you.
Once again, you guys, you're going to go to heathermcdonald.net. That is where you're going to buy your tickets to the live show. Note that there's been some changes. The changes will be reflected on that website. And I hope to see you guys at one of these shows. And thank you so much. Remember, Patreon, all new, Friday, all the different levels. Join Patreon. You never regret it.